Hi everyone, and welcome to the Libra April 2022 mid-month love, health, and wealth reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance, or more simply put, to better find where you fit. So hi everyone, thank you to all of those who are returning. I can't express enough how much I appreciate your continued support. And for anyone who is new, thank you so much for watching. So this reading is meant to be kind of a mid-month reminder to pull some cards to keep themes in mind for the second half of the month, to bring awareness to yourself and how authentically you are connecting your unique self with your external environment. And sometimes we just need a little boost so we don't let those days kind of go by without us really keeping ourselves in mind. All right, so actually that's quite a little too many cards there, Libra. Looks like you guys have a lot to say around love. So I'm going to pull some cards, and then I'll pull clarifiers and go a little deeper into each of the three themes for love, health, and wealth. But we'll start with love. So we have codependency. It says addictions are affecting your romantic life. I'm going to pull another additional card here, and then we'll pull some clarifiers. So Libra, right off the bat, codependency. When we talk about addictions, this doesn't always mean, drug or alcohol or that kind of addiction. This could, when we talk about codependency, especially when we're looking at romantic relationships or even work relationships, this can be where we are addicted to a dynamic with another individual. All right, and I'll read this card here and we'll get back into it here. So we have practice compassion. It says see things from a fresh perspective, number 15, which breaks down to number 6, which actually is in numerology the number that works with the energy of love. But I like that it says see things from a fresh perspective. So when we're thinking about codependency and we're thinking about perhaps being addicted to a dynamic, so this can look like if it's in a romantic partnership, maybe you are always the one in a romantic partnership who carries all the weight and somebody else gets to shirk the responsibility. And so you're in this constant kind of roundabout, where you're frustrated and the other person doesn't understand your frustration. Or this could be where you are in continual relationships where somebody is maybe emotionally abusing you, that you're taking all the abuse, or you're taking, maybe harsh words or the way somebody else acts towards you, and you're like, well, I just have to shoulder this burden. I'll just carry it quietly all by myself. This could also be where perhaps some of you might be addicted to something. You might be addicted to the rush you get when you first meet somebody. And so you kind of like burn through romantic partnerships because you're constantly looking for that rush that you get from the other person and that you can't kind of maintain after that. And so when we're thinking about this, before I pull additional clarifiers here, there is this feeling coming through of really being able to kind of take a step back for the second half of this month and take a look at in your relationships, because that's really what love is. Love is the connective force that we are always bringing into any scenario where we are connecting with another person, be this in a work environment or be this in a romantic partnership, a family relationship, or even a friendship. So kind of step back and see, how are you interacting with the people in your life? Who are you surrounded by? Are you in a work environment that is uplifting and of equal dynamic and partnership? Do you hold the same if you have a significant other in your life? Do you hold the same true to your external, let's say, to friendships and family interactions? And really see what is your dynamic with others? And can you kind of pull back and look at it from a different perspective? Libra, you are a sign that represents balance. And so you actually do have the ability to see both sides, which is sometimes what can lead you to actually having the indecision to take action. And I think for you guys, now you're actually being asked to be able to kind of see from the other side, that if you weren't you, what would your relationships look like to an outsider, to an outside perspective? Okay, so as I pulled additional clarifiers here, we have the Magician, which can actually bring in kind of Gemini energy. We have Strength, and we have Page of Cups. So this is getting back to, with the Magician coming through and Strength right next to this, there's something to be said about remembering that you hold the magic within your life. This is similar to saying that you are the emperor in your own life, but it's even more powerful to a certain extent because we realize that we're the ones that bring the magic to our life. We truly are the magician. So we have what is unique to us to be able to work with all of the different elements that we have at our disposal, and what we create with them is on us. So if you are currently in a dynamic with another, or let's say you're unhappy in your work situation, or you're unhappy in your home situation, you are a part of that mix. You are a person who is utilizing what you have at your disposal, and you're creating that for yourself. Now you may sit here and say, yes, but there's another person involved, or there's multiple people involved. But ultimately, you are the magician in your own life. Again, you are the one bringing your own magic to your experience. We can have shared experiences, but each individual person is bringing that magic to their life. We can't wait for somebody else to bring the magic to us, or to create for ourselves what we want. We have to create it for us. And so there really is something with the Strength card coming through of understanding that that actually can be a lot more difficult than it sounds, that we have to have the courage to follow what we want and to be able to understand that we have to create that. We can't look to that from an outside source. We can't hope that a partner becomes the perfect person for us and will suddenly change and give us what we need. We have to go out and become what we need. Or same thing in a work relationship. You know, we can't sit here and keep forcing a work environment to be conducive to what we need. We have to find a work, environment that works for us, meaning that if you have expressed your displeasure or expressed maybe something in your work environment that you're not happy with, well, instead of trying to fight for them to keep changing something, it's time for you maybe to move on, or look to engage in a different way that might actually bring more magic to this, to your situation. So with the Page of Cups, this can actually be, where you're getting kind of back in touch with your emotional state. But I always like to see this as like the inner child, that you're getting back to that kind of fresh look at yourself again, that fresh look of a fresh kind of perspective towards your entire environment of, I'm going to offer my heart on my sleeve to everything. And that, when we get into this place, when we get back into kind of stripping away all the things that have hurt us, all the layers we have that we've put on ourselves that have become a void, almost that have created a numbness for ourselves between us connecting authentically and through that intense kind of emotional connection to our external environment, to the people in it, we rob ourselves of that love, that zest that comes, that love of life, love of ourselves, and that fun, optimistic perspective of, this is what I love. We rob ourselves of allowing that part of ourselves to come out. So there's something here for the second half of this month, Libra, about really owning the magic that you bring to every situation, owning that if you're not happy in some aspect of your life, it's only you that can utilize what you have at your disposal to change that. And it's to do so from a way where it's not that we're going to sit here and hold almost like resentment towards the other person in our life when we realize that we have to make a change. It's instead realizing we each bring something to a dynamic. and that other person is living their own experience. And sometimes it's in simply us kind of breaking through that kind of wall of codependency, of where you are always kind of filling the role, even though now that role doesn't work for you, or maybe it never has. That when you sit there and say, you know what, I know I've always been the provider, or I've always been, or maybe the reverse, I've always been the support system, but I now feel the need. I remember that I love to do X, Y, and Z, and I really want to go out there and change something that's really made me unhappy for quite some time. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, make this happen for myself. And I hope that you can be supported by this. But there's a lot of optimism that comes through with this Page of Cups, that the more you get closer to that energy, the more you allow your inner child, your inner innocent, optimistic child to really shine and come out, the more the magic is going to come from that place. That you're going to start to shift in your environment what needs to shift, and you're really going to be able to see. So it's almost like looking at your current experience in love, be it in what you do, meaning your career path and if you love that, or in your romantic relationships or close family bonds, that look at that from the eyes of your inner child. If you could go back to yourself at 10 years old and all the hopes and dreams you had for yourself, and you were to see yourself now in the relationship you're in, what would your younger self feel about your current experience? And what do you think that younger self might want to do to make change there? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull a card for the energy of health. And since I am not a medical practitioner, this is not looking at your physical or mental health. We're looking here at your spiritual health. We're looking at the energy around how well and authentically you are expressing yourself into your outside. Basically, how healthy is your view of yourself and of the importance you bring to your external environment? And are there any blocks really coming through here for you? All right, so we have two cards that came out. We have Action, which I always love this card. Number 17 breaking down to a number 8, which is a number about empowered leadership or just personal empowerment. And 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel, number 41 breaking down to a 5, which is also the number of change. So what I'm seeing here with Action and the 7th chakra. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the chakras and the energy systems in the body, the 7th chakra is your crown chakra. And this is where we can really, when we have issues around our 7th chakra, it's where we are kind of blocking spirit's downloads. We're blocking our connection to the fact that we are connected to everything. And we kind of can lose sight of this sometimes. It's one of those things where we forget that we have a direct connection to kind of that universal book of knowledge, that we can go within, and any answers we seek actually lie within ourselves. And sorry guys, I'm gonna take a drink of water. I got something stuck in my throat. Okay, thank you. That sometimes we can get to that point where we feel like we're alone, like we're cut off. We're not following our intuition. We're not able to see the way. It's almost like when this part of ourselves is blocked, this is when we feel a little kind of like we're just going through the motions day to day, and there's nothing that's kind of pointing us like, here, this is the way, these are the signs, this is what you need to keep an eye out for. And with Action coming in, Action to me always, this card represents a little bit, or mirrors a little bit, the energy of the Chariot in the tarot, which is about getting your head and your heart in alignment and starting to be the charioteer, and you are the person now driving the chariot home to your ultimate destination. So for your spiritual health, I think there has been a little bit of this kind of, you've been kind of blocked from being the charioteer in your life, being the magician in your life, and getting yourself going again. going towards what feels like home for you, and also allowing yourself to have to tap back into yourself, connect, allow those downloads to come in to show you. Sometimes, like, we can just get into the chariot and start whipping the horses, but without a clear idea of where we want to go, it's just us, kind of going through the motions. Instead, this is a really clear message coming through of, it's time for you to allow Spirit to show you again kind of the signposts, like, go here, aim this way. Remember, this is what you wanted for yourself, and now go out and do it. I really like this message for you, Libras. There's something around a clarity that's coming through. If you're willing to see it, if you're willing to again, have the courage that it takes to see what is not working in your life currently and to really make those changes. Oh, I love it. So the Page of Wands. So with the page energies coming up here, there really is the sense of getting back to that youthful, almost uncorrupted version of yourself. Page of Wands is about going out there and working with your passions from just a true place of enjoyment and enthusiasm. So go out and have fun, Libra. And the Empress, oh, well, this is perfect. So the Empress is a card that harnesses your energy, Libra. It's a card that's ruled by Venus. So this represents both the Taurus and Libran energy in the tarot. And I love that it's coming up with the Page of Wands, because what this is showing is a reminder of the energy that you carry, Libra, at all times through the energy of the Empress, which is that you are able, it's very similar energy actually to the Magician. The difference between these two cards is the Magician is the realization that we can utilize things external to ourselves. So we can utilize our physical, our mental, we can utilize all aspects of our experience to create for ourselves what we want. The Empress allows us to understand the beauty of receptivity, the beauty of she can take in what she needs and then creates from that place. So it's bringing the realization of the Magician 2 steps down to a much deeper, I would even say more meaningful place of realizing we not only can just manipulate aspects of our experience, we actually can create new things from ourselves. And that those new things come from our passion, come directly from our wand, which is the Ace of Wands, which is our eternal flame. This is what makes us unique. And so really there is this beautiful energy coming through for your spiritual health of really getting back to that place of understanding your own magic, understanding, again, there's a mirroring quality here in these two cards. She's holding the wand up, he's holding the wand, but the wand holds a flame on both sides. So it's a really interesting thing about, again, that our passions come from our connection to source energy, spirit, God, the universe, whatever you like to call it, but it burns through us. And I like to think of ourselves as a beautiful, that's why I actually always have this kind of interesting crystal here, that it's, or a piece of cut glass, more specifically put, but it's a reminder of refraction, and that I look at each one of us, the physical being of who we are, as this, that we are each cut in a unique way. The light that comes from the candle here, or a light that would shine through here and refract out into the world in a specific way, is unique to each one of us. The light source is spirit. So that's how we kind of, I can depict in a way here how we are each unique and meant to shine a part of spirit out differently than another, but how we are also all connected to the same source energy, spirit. So it's almost like getting reminded of how you refract uniquely. What is that part of yourself that is meant to be brought out and shined? But also, what do you want to create for you that is unique, that is not going to come from somebody else? Because again, you get to create this for yourself. Get back into that place of, I'm going to take action because I'm reminded by Spirit. I'm allowing my crown chakra to receive those messages, to be reminded that this is why I'm here. This is my uniqueness. This is my passion. This is what I'm meant to work with and express. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pull a final card for the concept of wealth. And, you know, I like to preface this with, yes, it can be financial or physical abundance, but wealth can also be whatever we want to feel. What aspect of our life would make us feel wealthy? Like if I had more time, a wealth of time in my life, if I had a wealth of friendship or a loving partner. So that's kind of what wealth represents here. Now it's interesting because we've had two other signs get the same card in the same place. So this is a beautiful reminder of receptivity, yin, number 2. That this is the open chalice. This is kind of representative of the Ace of Cups in the tarot. It's a reminder of the connection that we have between us and Source Spirit. Reminder that we always have the overflowing cup of unconditional love from the divine that sees us as worthy, that sees us as perfectly imperfect. It's also a card that represents a divine feminine energy, which is exactly this, the Empress, that we create through taking in, which I also love too with the 7th chakra here. You get to take in and then create outward. And in addition to that, it's also just about receptivity, about things maybe coming into your life at this point. I'm getting a really strong feeling, Libra, that this is kind of like the aha moment. Like you have the chance to free yourself and really create some strong forward push of movement towards what Spirit's desperately trying to like show you. Like, remember that you wanted to do this. Remember that this was your path. Like, please get back on the path and start moving again. And it's almost like you have this beautiful opportunity to make that breakthrough before we move into May. But for some of you, you know, it hinges on how courageous you want to be, how much you want to see, how willing are you to go through the change needed? Meaning that this could look like you have to walk away from the security of a long time, you know, job, work environment, or you might have to change your entire family dynamic, or you might have to move someplace else geographically, or you might have to give up on a long-held attachment to something to realize, oh my gosh, I have not been enjoying my life for so long. It's one of those things where it can be difficult. But as long as you stay open to what's coming in, and this is really what's coming through here, as long as you stay open to what's coming in, Spirit is going to give you what you need to get back on your path and create for yourself what you were meant to shine into the world. That's the promise between us and the divine. That's why we are perfectly imperfect, because we each have a path, an ultimate destination to get to, and the highest potential of ourselves to reach. And, you know, the divine wants us to get there. Okay, that's a little too many cards. We'll see if maybe a few less come out. I did see the King of Cups, so that's a beautiful energy to have with, you know, the chalice here with yin. Let's see. What does Libra need to know about wealth and receptivity? So for some of you, this could simply be being open to help. You know, if you know that there's a change that needs to be made and you are kind of seeing now where you went off the road a bit, this can be where maybe somebody offers you that, you know, helping hand, says, you know, I know you need to get out of your family situation. I have a spare room. Do you want to move in with me, kind of thing? Or, you know, I know you want to leave your current work environment. I have an opportunity. It might not pay as much, but I think you might enjoy it. Would you like to make the change? It's one of those things where sometimes in wealth, we don't realize, we're so focused on, well, we have to make money, we have to have security. And sometimes it's the wealth of the people that we have around us that actually can help us get back on track and lead us to, you know, the true wealth that's coming for us. So we have 5 of Wands, we have 3 of Wands, and we have 9 of Swords. So there is something here that I'm seeing, that the 5 of Wands and the 3 of Wands, this can be a little bit of like chaotic energy, that there's a lot of people kind of coming into the mix. This can also be, though, where it's like you almost have to get back out there and start to test your wand, to go out and, you know, practice. These guys look like they're practicing working with some type of tool, or they're sparring, or, you know, whatever. They're, you know, not, let's say, just fighting. They're actually trying to, you know, get a better skill set through doing this, you know, to expand on a skill. Now with the 5 of Wands and the 3 of Wands, there could be, it's almost like you're maybe vying for an opportunity, or that there is something where you kind of have to get out there and work with this new wand. And that it's, with the 9 of Swords coming in, it's almost like you're worried about that. Like you're overly stressed about, but then I have to go out there and do it again, or I have to go out there and test this, and I don't know what that's going to bring in for me. And what, you know, again, I actually like this depiction of the 3 of Wands, because it shows that she's planting flowers in the desert, and it's a kind of a representation of the Empress card, that she can create for herself. She can grow lotus flowers in a barren landscape just because of her choosing. So there is something here around that, to really kind of lean into. Sorry guys, I had to step away for just a second. My daughter woke up from her nap and she's actually sitting right behind me as we speak, playing, so she might hear her. But what I was saying is that, again, this mirrors that beautiful energy of realizing your ability to create. And sometimes the 3 of Wands can be a card of where we're waiting for our ships to come in. And I get this feeling of, this is almost like kind of reversing that energy and saying, instead of waiting for my ships to come in, why don't I start planting the seeds and growing what I actually want to come in? And so it's almost like, as you're waiting for these lotus flowers to grow, it's about getting back out there. It's about being receptive to your experience now. This could be where you're brushing off an old passion, and you're like, man, even though I know this is kind of like something I really want to work with or do, like, I don't know what that's going to look like out there in the competitive world. And it can be scary because, you know, we then can get into that place of the negative mindset of, well, what if I look silly? Or what if I chase this dream and it doesn't work out? You know, what if I look like a fool? What if people make fun of me for wanting to do this? Or, you know, going back to do this at a specific age? Or this could even be like where you're sitting here saying, you know, what if I plant the seeds for the lotus flowers and they don't bloom? You know, what if I'm just sitting here waiting? And what I feel like Spirit's really saying in your wealth sector is, there is wealth to be had, but you also have to have faith that the things will grow in the time that they're meant to. And that you have to kind of get away from this negative mindset and just place yourself in this receptive space of allowing people to come to you, allowing things to come forward that get you out there and get you kind of working with who you are, with what makes you you again. Whether this is going out into the job market and just seeing what's out there, whether this is getting out into the dating pool and seeing what's out there, but at the same time, trusting that as you're doing that, you're planting the seeds of the foundations for a strong romantic partnership to bloom. It's almost like being able to just know that what you know is going to come into you is going to come into you, and get out into the fray. And don't be afraid, and be open and receptive to what's coming in, because as you do that, you're making space and you're providing yourself energy and getting the fuel from what's coming in to be able to create outwards what you want for yourself. So really great second half to the month for you, Libra. As long as you can really you know, I think be honest with yourself. Be honest where you've been holding yourself back and really step up into this beautiful energy. Let your inner child shine. Let your inner child lead. And that's going to be kind of the Kickstarter. That's going to be really where to, what's going to be that first marker as to like, that's where I get back on my road again. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you would like to book your own personal reading, I do have the link to my website in the description box below. For those of you who are local to the Northern or Central Virginia area, I now do have a space to meet for live readings if you would like to do that. And just to let you know as well, my illumination readings for the month of April are on my website if you'd like to see that. It's an expanded reading for the month. But for next month, I will also be including an extended portion of that larger reading, which will be available at an additional cost. So I hope to see all of you guys next month for the May 2022 illumination reading. Have a great rest of the month, Libra. Bye-bye.